It's 2010. Our contracting companies have been in business for 8 years, and we're in trouble. We're missing another paycheck this weekend, and I frankly don't even know how we're going to make payroll. I don't understand what happened. We're doing everything right. We're doing everything a good business owner should be doing. How are we bleeding money so bad? Anybody else feel like this? Yeah. It's times like this when you realize that you have to figure out what to do, no matter what it is. In my case, it was borrow money. And no one likes to borrow money. The banks were certainly not knocking down our door, and our savings had been depleted, so I went to my mother-in-law. The turkey does not taste good at Thanksgiving when you owe money to your mother-in-law, let me tell you that. But I made her a promise that I was going to fix this. I was going to figure it out. I was going to do what it takes to run a good company, a profitable company. I made a promise to myself that this was enough. I was going to take my power back. Yeah. And I went to town. I got books. I went to training. I got coaches. I got mentors. I hung around other business owners that were all going through the same thing and all striving for the same end result. And I started figuring it out. When I was a little girl, I used to always play with my sister. And we would play school, and I was usually the teacher. And then when I got a little older, I watched Legally Blonde, and I thought, you know what? That is the coolest chick in the world. She's smart, she's funny, and she has awesome shoes. And the last thing in the world I thought I would ever be would be a roofing contractor. But here I am, a roofing contractor. So I up for the challenge, I do what I gotta do, and we start looking at what is really needed in this company to make this turnaround. So the first things I realized were we didn't have the right people in place. We didn't have the right people at all. We had to go through and we had to cut things. We had to go through and realize what we were spending incorrectly. We had to put the right people in the right seat or on the right bus and get rid of anybody else that really wasn't helping us and helping our business at all. This was a big dynamic because my husband was the CEO at the time and I was more in a support role. And we soon realized that we really needed to switch. He was great in sales, so he went out and did sales, and I was really great at processes and systems and getting the team in the right direction. So that's what I did. And over the next couple years, we started slowly getting things back. But when I think about it, one of the most important things that were the pivotal shift of all of it was instead of fighting with each other and blaming, getting into yourself, like you're working so many hours, he's working so many hours, and it's just crazy. We stopped and we decided, let's at least be kind to each other. We're like married. And what can we do every day that's a little thankful? Let's just appreciate each other a little. Because we don't have anything else, we might as well do that. So really it was a pivotal shift for us to be able to do that. What we realized was that there were 5 key important ingredients to having a healthy business and a home life. And the most important of all of the ingredients that we found out was the gratitude. Every once in a while you realize there's a crossroad. The crossroad in our situation was that day when I had to go and borrow that money from my mother and not decide that I wasn't going to just give up on the business. I was going to figure this out. And if I wouldn't have done that day and in turn had a healthy business, we wouldn't have been able to handle it when a few years later the rug was completely pulled away from us. You see, 4 years later, the end of September 2014, we found out my husband had cancer. They gave him 16% chance to live. And he had a wonderful team. We had a wonderful staff. We had a wonderful medical team. The office stood up and did what they needed to do, all because of the systems and the processes we had put in place. We were having staff meetings at the hospital. We did whatever we had to do. And guess what? It worked. I'm proud to say that 5 years later, he is cancer-free. And I couldn't be happier. Thank you. So the dynamics really were wonderful, that because we were able to switch it in that time and realize where we were in each other's lanes and how we could complement each other, we were able to really handle this really rough patch. So 5 years he was out of the business, and he finally joined us last May. And he's decided what makes him happy and stayed in sales and loves doing what he does. And I took on a bigger role and love doing what I'm doing. And the dynamics that happened after that were just magical. You suddenly had this feminine and this masculine working together instead of against each other. Instead of me wondering, why isn't he doing it the way I would do it? Now I realize it's like a blessing. We are both looking at the business and our marriage from two separate, beautiful eyes. We don't have to be the same. The company's even better because of that. The lessons that I would love for you guys to walk away with after everything we're going to talk about the rest of today is gratitude. Every day I want you to take one thing and thank the person that you're with for something that you loved that they did that day. It's easy. Everyone can do that. If it's your spouse, your significant other, your dog, and certainly at work. Just say one thing that's thankful every day. Because you know what? You matter. And you matter. And the two of your relationships matter. The foundation of that is more important than anything else. And when you have that in mind, everything else will fall into place. Thank you very much.